Sorry about that. I had to pause and adjust my cats. But I was as I was saying, Kyrie's father just completely is not you know, he seemed to be, as you say, humoring Shuichi's father previously, but now he's completely and the children are too, uh, worried and taken off guard by how obsessed the man is with the spiral design and just spirals in general. And of course, no one in this sort of polite society, because we have to remember we're very loose tongue nowadays with what we say to each other in American society and just in online social society in general. People back in the day would not point out strange behavior for fear of offending said person or, other things. And that's just a very old school way of thinking, I think. And just, it's also like a Japanese, and that's bad, not to say it's bad, it's just a very traditional way of thinking, not to step on people's toes and call out what maybe not necessarily, what we think might be a good thing to call out. It might be good, but it might not be good in other situations. How beautiful this panel right here, just complete outline of darkness as he looks into the darkness of the spiral there. So this is implying that Shuichi's in the room trying to speak to his father as this is happening, and his father just completely cannot tune him in or even register his voice. And Kiria again is trying to understand why Shuichi is so upset all the time again, why he is acting the way he is too, because this is not normal behavior for Shuichi as well, I presume. And she's very worried, and not very worried, I would say at this point, but she's concerned as to what's going on as well. And she doesn't want to judge his family because she doesn't want to judge what she presumes to be her future in-laws as well. It's a very, again, like I said, traditional way of thinking. And then we're here. This is the scene again that they depicted in the anime of them walking together. Again, speaking of the strangeness of the town. He calls them dust devils and whirlwinds. See, now this is interesting, and this might upset some people for various reasons, but it is reality, and we have to understand, just because someone draws violence or a situation of violence like this, domestic violence, it doesn't mean that they ever did domestic violence or anything like that. We draw our worst fears, and this is Mr. Ito drawing one of those fears, which is domestic violence, which unfortunately is a reality and a common occurrence all over the world. It's something we have to acknowledge, and it goes on today, but it was more prevalent and less spoken of in this time period. So I think it is just him, back in when this manga, came out, him just trying to bring attention to a nightmare situation like this. As well with all of these situations are metaphors for the nightmares, the true horrors that do go on in reality, like this domestic horror. And again, I'm not mad for Mr. Ito bringing light and representing this in his work. It doesn't mean that he advocates for this sort of behavior, and people need to understand they need to stop conflating the two together. And honestly, So very, 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 very realistic. I would say reaction of Mr. I don't even know Shuichi's last name. Their last name of this family. Reaction to his wife throwing away all his spirals when his obsessions become this, all-consuming. And you could almost say it's like an alcohol obsession too, like a metaphor for that addiction. God, look at his tongue just sticking out of his mouth there. I have bad memories from my childhood with one of my parents being an alcoholic, so this drives home quite a lot. Jeez. Oh God. Yeah, this panel is just, yeah. They did a really good job in the anime, but this just the level of detail on the paper and the fact that you can just physically oh God, just feel it on the paper. It's so disturbing. Yes, and then of course Kyrie, interestingly, does not scream at this point in like she does in the anime. She as you can see, her thoughts are disturbed. She is very disturbed. But she somehow, like her love or whatever, her good naturedness, for whatever reason, allows her to just not scream, and in that moment, kind of be like, okay, well, this is still Shuichi's father. And she said, even here, for days after that, Shuichi didn't talk about his father, but she doesn't even mind because she's like, oh, yeah, she almost wants to put it behind her because she loves this boy and she doesn't want to come to hate or fear him or his family. It's very sad because it's like you're that frog analogy that they say in high school. You're a frog in a pot and then they start boiling you in the pot, but you don't even notice because they're boiling you at a rate that's so slow that you don't notice like how hot the pot is becoming. And you love this person, and maybe the person who put you in the pot is someone you love, but not to say Shuichi put Kyrie in the pot on purpose, but just by simple association of being close to him, the spiral is going to get her too, because it's that inertia, it's that, pull of the spiral, it's that, what's it called, that planetary pull, that gravitational pull of the spiral pulling you in. She didn't mean to get caught up in it, but just by being in love with Shuichi himself, and his father being kind of the starting point of the spiral for the town, has just kind of doomed her inevitably, which is so tragic. Sorry, I'm spiraling. You guys need to tell me if this gets out of hand. I'm very new to YouTube, so I'm ranty. I have no idea what I'm saying sometimes, so forgive me if I spiral. So disturbing. So good. I'm sorry if I sound condescending if I say that. I love this book. I reread it all the time. It's just so good, but it's like, oh God, so creepy. Gives you the ooey, the goosebumps. That's why I loved reading Goosebumps as a kid too. It just gives you the goosebumps. And of course, the unsuspecting delivery man who has no reaction in either adaptation to the screaming high